back to the 2026 Scrabble Players Championship. Josh Sokol and Matt Canik here on the mics. And we have Table 8 matchup on the stream. Jackson Smylie struggling 4 wins to 6 losses versus Jem Burch. And this is a story, a very, very interesting story of a player. Jem Burch has always been incredibly talented. He's only recently started to take back Scrabble as a very important hobby of his. He has been a school Scrabble player for an extremely long time, I guess. I think he won in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. But I remember commentating a game of his where he played Kalisaya against Chloe Fatsis. But yeah, Jem Burch, a very, very interesting player. His word knowledge is fantastic. He's able to stump Mac in terms of word knowledge. He's playing Jackson Smylie, who is one of the top contenders in this tournament and fighting to stay alive. And so Jackson going first, AEELOTW.
Yeah, woe is me has kind of been the tale of the tournament. It's hard to paint a narrative on day one or early day two of a nationals, aside from the narrative of, whoa, I think this player's already out of it. I didn't see that coming. And Jackson is one of the few players who people would be very surprised to hear are below 500 at this stage in the tournament. Jackson really is fighting for his tournament life. He needs to go probably 14-2 over the next stretch to have any chance. OWE is how he's going to start this game. Set up the front L makes a lot of sense. Looks straightforward to me, Josh.
Yeah, this makes sense. WOE also possible if you want to be a little bit more conservative. But AELT, a great leave to set up the L hook. There's also an H hook on available for HOWE, but only 2 H's out and 4 L's. So it looks like Diluent is Jem Burch's rack, and he's going to play that without much further ado for 73, using that L hook to his advantage. And Jackson with a really bad draw. He needed an R for Aereo late. He's already in a really bad spot.
Yeah, so Jackson pulling 3 more vowels into AELT and getting hit with a natural bingo on turn 1. That's just kind of how the breaks are sometimes in Scrabble. It's probably been the tale of the whole tournament for him. I suspect Jackson can at least have a good time at the bar in Cedar Rapids for the next 3 days of this tournament.
Definitely. So Jem Burch living in the LA area. He's been going to club a lot. He's been playing in many tournaments. One of his ratings is actually 1950, basically a live rating, but he's coming in this tournament as the bottom seed because his rating in the the North American Scrabble Players Association is 1590. He has almost never lost rating in a tournament. Every time he plays, he improves. And he just needs to keep playing. So over to Jackson now. He's looking at playing Toia, either below or atop the ENT of Diluent. What about Olia making AD and AI? Those are the types of options you have in such an ugly position. I think playing on the right makes sense to retain the lane that Diluent opened on top of the DI. What are you thinking, Matt?
Yeah, probably Toia on top, score 16 points, and just move on. Like, there are some stacks that are still going to go on top of this word, and just kind of staircase up to the top of this board. Otherwise, makes sense on a turn where you can't do anything much. Just score pretty well, keep bingos in range. Yeah, seems fine.
And we'll see if Jackson's rack materializes. It is still early, but he's already at quite the deficit. Over to Jem, who's hoping for a D out in space, more open than the D in Diluent for Hangard. And there is a B, a blank, an N, and an E. So finally, a little bit of a more furious alphabetization there for Jackson Smylie, realizing he's back in the game with that draw. But Jem, how do you respond to Toia? I think Jem is a player who does not fear. So he's looking at playing Hag and HA, perhaps?
Or slide it over hag, het, and ah.
In either case, you're opening a triple up for Jackson more than you're opening up for yourself. But yeah, it's 24 to the left, making het and and it is 24 as well, making just HA. So probably better to shift it over, like Matt said. Is there not a way to score a little bit more on this rack? It's very surprising.
RHEA scores 27, but strings an A in that triple column. I don't think you're going to make that play here. Hag, we saw Jem set up GEAN for a bit. This would play beneath the ENT of Diluent. 23 points on that. Some good defense, but I think Hag just makes a little bit too much sense.
I actually much prefer playing just HA, HET, and AA here for 20, keeping the very, very, very powerful Anger 5-tile leave. But HAG, that is the play for Jem Burch. And Jackson now, with his blank rack, has been spending time trying to find the highest score for his tiles. So you're looking at that E and low. Now you're looking at, can I hook onto hag? Do I have something there? We'll see what he does.
He's got 8 through the eye in Diluent, and given he was looking at mostly a similar position last turn, he may have already seen them. Lineable, finable, mineable all play as overlaps to OWE. They do give back potential plays. No, they don't give back potential plays unless 5-letter plays down to the triple word, and they score more than any other bingo, 73.
So yeah, tough position where you'd really want to score more than that with such a nice rack, but yeah, finable, lineable, mineable. Those are the 3 73 pointers. Enables with LOES is not a great play. Enables with ED and SI opens a triple for only 72. Yeah, it's kind of sucky situation, but at least you're going to take a small lead here. You might be thinking the play of hag. That really smells like a setup for an S. Turns out Jem doesn't have one. Does Jackson know anything about Jem's game, his reputation for fearless plays like hag? But he can't do anything about it now.
Yeah, can't change anything about that for sure. This is a big decision for Jackson. Depending on where the L gets played, it could give back re-nailed. And this is indeed going to seed re-nailed. So Jackson has found his highest scoring bingo. Kudos to him for that. But now he's going to get nailed by re-nailed.
Yes, indeed. So the blank L at least going to give only 1 point less back. If Jackson had put the blank first, Jem would score 1 more point. But obviously that's no huge deal in this situation. Jem going to retake a bingo lead, and we'll see if Jackson's able to draw something out of the bag. One of those 4 S's remaining, very likely he'll draw one of those and potentially be able to score with hags.
We'll see. Yeah, an S draw would be huge here for Jackson. He reaches behind his head. He's been drawing this way since he was a youth Scrabbler himself back at 12 years old. Hasn't changed the technique at all. Can he find a blank? Or a blank or an S?
Yeah, something good, honestly. Renailed is going to leave the board open, so you could just get a natural bingo. You could just draw something pretty decent. But there's 2 T's, an A and an O, a U, not so great. K and an M. So no S, no blank, no natural bingo for Jackson Smylie. So he's back in a pretty rough situation here, it looks like.
I don't think it's as rough as it looks. Once you spot takeout through the E and re-nailed, opens up the top and left side of this board, scores 34 points. No doubt this is Jackson's best play here. He'll run his hands through his hair, get that center part rocking, and then find 34 points.
Yeah, takeout would be really, really nice here. It's a tough play to find. Weird, I guess, pattern of letters, but Jackson's play finding is pretty much second to none when it comes to open boards like this. Alphabetized, but look at that draw for Jem Burch. That second blank, that is huge for him. He's going to be in fantastic shape.
Yeah, well, I wonder. Jackson needs a win here so badly. To watch him fall to 4-7. It's not mathematically game over, but he would have to basically win out. Maybe could afford to drop just one more game over the remainder of play. Can Jackson mount a big comeback and keep his tournament alive, or will this be the last we hear from the whiz kid from Montreal?
Yeah, this is pretty much the time to make a big run for it. Crazier things have happened. Crazier comebacks have happened. Jackson, like you said, can maybe afford to drop one more game and then make an incredible run back to the top two players to make it to the finals. So that's part of the reason we're showing this game. Let's see if he can do it. Jem Burch at 5-5 still has some chances, but his spread is very bad. So both these guys fighting for their chance. The final table. Jackson has spotted Kratom through the R of Renailed, but not Takeout. And this would be a really big miss, Matt.
Yeah, this would be a huge blunder, but it's just so hard to keep the ship upright when the brakes don't seem to be falling your way. This is probably tilt induced more than anything else, but this is not a good play.
It would be a good play if not for Takeout, but it gives so much back on the overlap, keeps a U, doesn't score that much. So very unfortunate miss for Jackson Smylie. And with Jem's rack and his lead, it's going to be really hard to come back if you make any missteps in this game.
Yeah. I mean, drawing a bingo ending with an O would be a wonderful Hail Mary, but that's just so unlikely. We'll see. This is not the draw Jackson was looking for either. More vowels for him. We'll see what Jem does with this blank.
Yeah, this is interesting. I kind of wonder if the play, so he's looking at FEH to the right of the OM, I believe, of Kratom, but PEC, is that crazy to set up possibilities of huge CH plays next turn?
PEC alongside the OM of Kratom actually feels pretty good, except you don't want to create a high scoring bingo line for Jackson to hit potentially. It could just backfire so hard.
Look at that. Lining up half pence. This is the incredible word mastery of Jem Burch. He loves 9-letter words, 10-letter words, but he's got to focus and try to take down this behemoth of an opponent. He's in great position, up 34. You're totally right. Maybe not the time to try and set yourself up. Just score as well as you can. Don't set up a big spot. Starting with the C, for those wondering, 8-letter words, the S is the best word, best tile to start an 8-letter word. Second best is a C. So the H there instead of the C makes a huge difference. And here we go. That is 32 points. Jackson, his play of Unitize blocked through the end of Renailed. He was probably hoping that something would be played on the left side. Now I don't really know how to approach this position.
Yeah, now you're just destroyed. There's nothing good for Jackson to do. He can score 24 with AZINE, open up the top of the board, but holds ITU. That's terrible. He can try to clean up the rack with a play like Unai through the in and renailed, but that scores 8 and doesn't keep all that well, Josh, just EITZ. So just sit here and be sad and stare into space, probably all I could do if I'm Jackson.
Yeah, this is where we might see Jackson's creativity in action. When he's in really bad positions, such as this one, he tends to find incredible resources for himself. I'm not quite seeing something, but you could try and set your Z up somehow. You could maybe you play like tug up top. That's crazy, isn't it? To set up ZD. It's a really rough position. We'll see if Jackson comes up with something.
I'll see Jem going to try to come up with something really cool here as well. CEIOPY blank has some really fun 8s available to him. Chat, if you're having fun, or if you want to have some fun while Jackson suffers through a brutal turn, find the 7 8s that Jem could make with this rack.
Jem's already lined up a couple. Copy, edit, epicotyle, the anagram of epicotyle lipocyte. It's been mentioned in the chat. Polyenic is available through the N of Renailed. But there's, what, 4 more of those? Wow. Yeah, it's a very, very potent rack, despite the 3 high point tiles there. And yeah, for Jackson here, I really wonder, is he going to consider playing alignable, putting the A on lineable or lineable to play a phony 9-letter word? There could be something like that in store for him. Otherwise, what do you do? Etui? You probably want to keep the Z. Etui and DE under the D of Renailed. Something like that. What's very interesting is still a blank out, still 4 S's out. If Jem draws none of those, Jackson will have a lot of time to use the high scoring spots available on the board. Right now, the H of FEH is a big, big threat for high scoring play. You can just see, keeping the U on the rack, how badly things could go, even with a decent draw after Kraton.
We'll see. Chat pointing out Jem has great word knowledge, but also maybe has developed a little bit of a habit of playing phonies or being unsure of certain words. We're wondering if this might be hypogoeic, which is not valid. There are no valid bingos for Jem from that H, but a cool play for over 100 points on stream. We might see a blunder from Jem. I'm not sure if he's setting up a 9 like hypodermic that he sees us, or if he's thinking about playing the 8 there. We'll continue to monitor for him. A big decision, big swing potentially looming in this game. I have no idea what Jackson is thinking to do here.
Yeah, he's taking a ton of time. This could also be hyponiaic. Hyponia is also a word.
Yeah.
But either way, if this does come on the board, Jem will lose his turn and Jackson will have a chance back. But yeah, what in the world does one do in this position? You can ask an engine, generate like 600 possible plays and try to find the one it likes best. But again, such creative energy out of Jackson Smylie. Looks like he's considering playing Tug up top. Like I said, setting up ZT. Now copy edit's going to come down unless Jem doesn't pivot away from hypogoeic or hyponiaic. Or lipocyte actually.
Oh my God, lipocyte, triple. Here it comes.
Oh boy.
And yeah, Jackson, I texted him, he was on stream before the game, and he said, you can see the final dagger go in, and there it is. Final dagger for Jackson. He's done.
Wow.
What a find.
Oof. 17 times 9. 153 plus 50. 203 points for lipocyte. This is game over. Unbelievable. Wow.
All right, and that's it. We'll see you guys after lunch. We'll be back at 3:30 Eastern time.
Oh man. Oh man. All right, well, I guess Jackson doesn't have to try and win anymore. He can just play whatever he wants. But, again, at 4 and 6 plus 30, he's in positive differential. Positive. No, I'm hearing an echo there. Jackson still has positive differential. And if he's able to try and numb his deficit here and then win the rest of his games, he'll still make it to the finals.
Yeah, I mean, crazy things happen in Scrabble all the time. We saw last year Nigel Peltier was 7 and 7 and ended up winning the entire event. Jackson will be 4 and 7. Is he the caliber of player who could come back? Yeah, he's probably one of the very strongest in the room, but this looks to be a good night, and enjoy your next 3 days in Iowa, Jackson Smylie. He's wanted to win this thing so badly. He has won the Word Cup 3 times. That is the other tournament in North America with the $10,000 first prize. But this is the one that Jackson cares about the most. This to him is the championship, the one he has wanted to win since he was a teenager. And it's not going to happen again for him this year.
We'll see. Still a lot of games left, but this would be the most ridiculous comeback of all time to make the top 2 for Jackson. But right now he's down 261 points, and he's going to go ahead and play Diazo, setting up potential for an S-hook later on. This makes sense, but he had 48 points for Zonai if you wanted to just try and narrow the gap a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you what is or isn't a correct play in a game with a 250-point delta, because who cares? You know, technically, Jem doesn't want to open the board and play Dojo and OK here, but, like, who cares?
Yeah. Fjord was spotted. We have Will Anderson in the chat, and that's a word that I think he often misses. FJORD, a very tough one to spot. Doesn't go down here. JO for 27, plus 9, 36, blocking the Diazo's hook. And Jackson probably just going to play something like KV here, or Vinnick through the end of Renailed. Events, I guess, is a little bit more of a fighting play through the end to set up the top left of the board a little bit more. And Jem is drawn poorly. So we'll see if the deficit can be narrowed a little bit, but this is as close to game over as you'll ever see, less than 2/3 of the way. So Mavi instead keeping the C to try and bingo with. Perfectly sensible play, getting rid of that huge scoring spot that Diazo set up that Joe made even worse. Yeah, sensible decision there.
Yeah, and only one E unseen, so playing events through the N, that's not going to be super fun for Jackson. So keep one back, try to do some damage. Ooh, damage could be happening. Not quite.
Yeah. So for those just joining, welcome to the 2026 Scrabble Players Championship. This year we are in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I am live in the booth on site. Matt Canik live from his room. We have a lot of star-studded players to look at, a lot of star-studded commentators that are bringing you the best commentary that we have to offer. So thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe. Huge thanks to NASPA Games for supporting this live stream endeavor every year. The biggest championship in North America as Favor comes down for 22. Jem just trying to eliminate space on the board. Jackson probably just going to play BO and Job pretty quickly here.
Yeah, or COZ into the Z of Diazo, making Mojo if you want to flex, but BO, slightly stronger play here. He's going to play BA instead, realizing he has the final O in the game with 2 A's still lurking. Sure, that's fine too.
It's interesting. You can draw maybe into like Senecio and OK on the left, though that would fit with Hags too. But yeah, CEIOS is actually probably maybe slightly better in this scenario. One of the words that Jackson could almost draw with the sleeve. Jem Burch draws an E. That's the second vowel. And he's looking at sedging. That's not a word, but edgings is. That plays with Mavies. Let's see what he chooses.
Yeah, this is his only bingo. Edgings and Mavies is 74 points if he's able to pull the trigger on it. So we'll see. Jem, you want to drop 600 on Jackson Smylie on stream?
Yeah, if Edgings gets played, Celosia with Mavies is blocked, but that will also fit with LA under Lipocyte. Is Jackson going to rage challenge this word, though?
I mean,
no.
If it comes off and you play Celosia, you still probably lose, so I don't even think you can gain anything.
Yeah, this is a word. I think Jackson studies words by list. Words like these are hard to know. Does edging take an S? But there was no hold, nothing at all. So the word knowledge, super solid. And Jackson going to go ahead and play Celosia. At least he's going to score 300 this game. So 28 rounds over 4 days. After 28 rounds, 2 finalists are crowned for a best of 5 matchup on day 5. The rest of the field will be playing 3 games to finish the 31 game championship. And Jem Burch drawing the X out of the bag, but actually doesn't fit next to the E of edgings that he just set up.
Yeah, so he's going to have to figure out what to do with the X. Doesn't fit next to the E and edgings yet, and there's only one tile in the bag that will make it fit if he draws that final A, but no O's, no E's unseen, just one A. I don't know if it's worth going for it. The other thing Jem may be a little worried about here is the unseen Q. So if I'm Jem, I want to keep my U back if possible, just to prepare me for Q draws, minimize the spread in this game, or maximize, I guess, this my winning margin in this game. He's found unpins? No, unwins. This is not a word.
I don't know what he's...
There you go, unpins.
Yeah. Yeah, that plays through the I and Mavis. Okay. Very sensible keeping the X, trying to draw the last A out of the bag, which is out there still for Axe. And this leaves 3 tiles in the bag. There's also a Q to draw. So things are going to get a little bit ugly in this end game. But of course, it is all foregone. 555 to 285. And Jackson may be going to empty the bag here with ugly. But this is a very complicated position. He might want to take his time to try and not get stuck with the Q, for example.
Man, I've gotten to watch Jackson Smylie get eliminated from this SPC so many times. Sometimes it's been at my own hands, but it does seem like it always happens in the most brutal and painful ways for Jackson. I remember a few years ago, he played a game. He was having sort of a collapse at the end, and all he needed to do was beat Joey Malik to win, and he got blown out by over 300.
That wasn't actually true. You're not telling the full story there, Matt. Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
all he needed to do was not lose by over 200 points, and he would have made the finals.
And then he lost by like 300 points. Never had a chance.
Yeah, so sometimes it can be that way. Just Scrabble can be very, very brutal, a very brutal beast. As Jackson, with this DLRTTUY rack, getting close to the end of the game, he still wants to try and make his best play no matter what. He has a very, very relaxed way of playing Scrabble. Even when he's totally lost, he might play a little bit faster, but in positions like these, he really does want to maximize or minimize the losing margin. And it's a very, very mature way to play the game, and we can all learn from it.
Yeah, just make the best play regardless of the game state, regardless of the game score, and Jackson's going to try to do that here. But man.
So yeah, if you're Jackson, I was thinking about just playing Guy for 21. Oh no, okay. So he's playing ugly, just hoping he does not draw the Q. Don't think there's a spot for the Q on the board. Even if he kept the U, that's what I was thinking. Like, where does the Q go even with the U? So I think he's determined that the Q is just a ticking time bomb, and he just needs to avoid it. And he's going to draw RAS. So XIQIRRW for Jem Burch. Again, the Q is just total poison here. I don't even think he can play it anywhere. So I think he's stuck.
Yeah, he will be Q stuck here.
Jem will make it to 600 after his next 2 moves. XI is going to score 38 under the EL of Solosia. Tell us how we're pronouncing our words in the chat. That'll bring him to 593. Jackson saddled with only 1 vowel. We'll have to make a couple more moves at least to end the game. There we have
All
it.
right. Here comes XI, 593 for Jem Burch, and he's guaranteed at least 1 more play, as Jackson clearly cannot go out with these 6 consonants. So have a day, Jem. Welcome to the stream. You would think, why are they showing the bottom seed on the stream? But Jem is no ordinary bottom seed, as you've seen from the way he's played this game, the speed with which he saw Liposite, his rating in the WIGPO organization. Have a day, Jem. Welcome.
Absolutely. So a really, really interesting story for Jem Burch. He will go to 6-5. A positive record in this field is no easy task, and we'll see if he's able to come back and propel himself into the top of the standings. Whereas Jackson Smylie at 4-7 is going to have to Swiss gambit his way and basically win all the rest of his games. He's going to go with Rex, start the Q stick. It's so brutal to have to play 7 more moves, but I think that's the correct approach. Jem is never going to be able to play his Q, so you just play one at a time, maximize your score over the next 7 plies, and just go ahead and lose by 200 plus points.
Yeah, wow. If you told Jackson, hey, you're going to draw a blank and you're going to Q stick your opponent and get to dink 7 times, that's usually a good omen. But no, you're still going to lose by 250.
And in response, we saw Jem Burch nodding at the play of Rex, being like, yeah, nice job. I'm stuck. It's going to be a long one. TEW for 14, EW for 13. Look like the best spots for Jem's W. But the IRR going to be kind of hard to deal with. But I think in response, Jem does want to play one at a time himself. Sometimes in positions like this one, you could play something like Liri, L-I-R-I, from the top of the board, setting up a spot for the Q, forcing Jackson to sacrifice points to block. He can do that next turn as well. And we'll see if he does. It's just a way to sort of maximize the margin of victory or minimize margin of defeat. Jackson with he has a very high scoring play available. Ash for 31, bottom right. If he plays the S off first with SH, I think that gives him a little bit more. So Med is the play for 6. It doesn't seem to. Oh, that blocks possibility of Shri after SH. But Jem isn't going to do anything like that. He just drops the I for 6. He's not going to try Leary. Probably a little bit inaccurate there. But these are really fun endgames, despite the result being foregone.
Oh, yeah, they are. Trying to optimize every single point out of these is a fun little puzzle. Often you've also got a time trap going on in these crazy situations. So at least something for us to think about here. Jackson now grabbing his R. Going to plunk this down for a score as well.
Yeah, and you want to just look, if you have the same tile as your opponent in endgames like this, you usually want to play it as soon as possible so that they don't get the best spot for said tile. But in this particular instance, many spots for 4 points for the R. So ER now, but AR is going to fit right there. So there was no need to do that immediately for Jackson. Jem Burch now with an R and a Q left over. He's going to be stuck with that Q. That's going to give Jackson 20 more points. And now Jackson has 2 T's to play. He's probably going to play Lit for 6 or 2 for 6. Maybe there's a better spot for the T that I'm not seeing. And then SH and ASH looks like the last thing to do in this endgame. You could do it now. We remember the athleisure sequence, Matt, where Nigel Richards set up athleisure for a huge score, but didn't play it as his last move, which was a huge lack of style in my opinion. But I think you want to save the coolest move for last.
Style points don't matter to Nigel Richards. He just tries to make the right play. God, it's hard to believe that's been a year since that sequence now. It feels like it was just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that was the only thing stopping Jackson from winning 4 years in a row, is Nigel Richards just going insane in that championship. So TEW for 6. Where does the R go? There for 3. And now Jackson, if he wants to do something really funny, he can try and set up a spot for QAT. Is there someone to do that and take it off the board? But yeah, play off the T, then you play off the S, then you play off the A. We'll see if he's got that all figured out. 4 minutes to go to Jem Burch's 12.5 minutes. He only needed half of his time to get 620 points. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's a dark horse.
I mean, Capstone was the 203-point triple of Lipocyte at the top of the board. I think that's the highest scoring play I have ever seen played on a stream, Josh.
I think so. And there we go. Kratoms and SH. Another nod of the head by Jem. He appreciates the precision. Watching Jackson, one of the best Scrabble players of all time, maximize his margin of defeat, minimize his margin of defeat in the end game. Ash for 18, and that'll be it. 380 plus 20 is 400. Jackson actually managed to get 400 in this game to Jem Burch's 620. Let's listen to the overhead mic.
I thought we were doing paperwork at the end.
I did.
We're doing a government
Good on
form.
you to eke an extra 100 points out of it.
It's kind of a cool end game.
Yeah.
Because like this blocks your blocks
Yes,
of
it blocks
of
high.
Ash. So it's like
I didn't even see Ash. I was sort of just going through the.
it's just like my own consolation prize to like try to calculate the end game. Like it.
Well, I shouldn't have done this. I didn't take a close enough look at the pool because I blocked like a good Q spot and
I see. Yeah,
gave up my S and my U.
Right.
I didn't have the Q at the time.
But I can't blame you for not being too spread focused when you're already getting so much. Yeah, super kind of poetic. Like, this is a really hard turn. I didn't see anything. I had A-E-I-I-Z, so setting on Ziddy.
Okay.
Super
I
weird
think
turn.
in any other context, it seems very reasonable.
I
This does
mean,
not.
I don't think
give
it's
anything back.
I don't
Maybe
think
not.
Tug looks reasonable at all. I think most would say that it looks crazy. And this was kind of my response to like,
fair.
is this a crazy play or not? And so far the answer is yes.
Well, my payback for getting the triple is getting Q stuck. So I'll leave it a little bit. Is Hypogeeic good?
Hypogeeic? I don't like it.
Hypogean is good. Hypogeal.
And Hypogeo, I think just apogeic.
Yeah, I think I would have played it if.
Yeah, it's no good.
Okay.
I think I would have challenged.
Okay. I wasn't seeing anything through the N, so I was like
To the end.
in renailed with
Oh,
this
I
rack.
see,
It was close to a lot of things.
Eponymic, polyenic,
Polyenic.
and pyogenic.
Okay, I saw pyogenic and I was like, am I making this up? I was more confident of hypogeic than pyogenic.
That's cool. I like those racks are interesting.
Yeah. Saw some other
Yeah.
things, but
Well,
is sedging good?
No, it's just
okay.
edging.
Okay, good. I was like, surging is good, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm probably thinking of.
Yeah, I know. It took me a
Yeah.
while to get edging still.
Yeah. And I think I missed. Oh, it's untiled is no. Okay.
No.
I had a moment of fear.
Okay.
Where I was like, is that a weird
Yeah.
anagram? But thank goodness thank goodness I didn't listen too hard to
To your inner thoughts.
my inner thoughts. I've been trying to like tiptoe around phonies this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
It's working out for the most part, but got close this game.
Pretty interesting. Yeah.
Pyogenic. Yeah, it ended up being quite a high total. 1,020.
Yeah,
Nothing
pretty
to
strong
see
game.
Yeah, so 1,020-point game, rounded scores, very, very polite.
Oh, really?
I missed takeout.
Okay.
Ooh,
Jackson getting the bad news. I wonder who
Wow.
texted Jackson saying he missed takeout. Huh.
What? Who could have
Jesus.
possibly done such a thing?
But two of the most polite players in the room, Jem Burch, Jackson Smylie, having a nice round post-mortem after that brutal loss. A lot of players would just walk away. So you see the maturity, you see the gamesmanship, sportsmanship at play. So yeah, that'll do it for the post day one pre-lunch games. Wow. Words escape me, Matt.
Well, you have an entire lunch break to get them back. We'll be back in 98 minutes, whatever that looks like for you. It's 3:30 Eastern time, 2:30 Central time, with rounds 12, 13, and 14 from the SPC. So go touch some grass, go get some sunshine, go breathe some smoke-filled air, or whatever there is to do in your neck of the woods. What are you doing with your lunch break, Josh?
Director's lunch, so that'll be good. I won't have to leave the premises and breathe in some bad quality air, but hopefully that'll pass. It's been a really nice time in Iowa and Cedar Rapids. There are so many more games to go. We have a whole afternoon, 3 games left today, and 2 more days of 7 games apiece. Matt will be joining me after lunch to call those. So yes, you can go touch some grass, do whatever you want for the next 100 or so minutes. and we'll be back with more Scrabble after the break. Thanks for watching.
See you soon.